Hello, you beautiful gamers. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back every single week, same day, to the Esports Rewind podcast. It's just, I always say it, it's just a great week for esports and gaming. Me and you have had,
it really
we've
doesn't.
had some talks off camera this week. It's been hectic. Thank you all for watching and listening. You guys are truly amazing, and you give us this opportunity each and every week, which we are eternally grateful for. Anyway, don't want to get too deep off the bat. Zan, you want anything to say?
Hey, I can just agree that we are truly fortunate to be in the position that we are, and it really is thanks to the community that supports us. So thank you all so much, so much. We are doing a lot of big things for you guys in 2021. Believe me, it's led to a lot of sleepless nights for the team.
For you especially.
It's coming though.
Trust me, I sleep plenty. Okay?
Yeah.
I go to bed very early.
Well, hey, let's just say we inked a deal yesterday that has me like, let's go.
Yeah,
so,
it's
big things.
And thanks to you as well as to all of you guys out there. It's been crazy. So. You ready to hit this one off?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we hope you guys all enjoy. Crazy topics. Here they are. And this first one, Xanifer, is definitely going to be talked about a lot going forward, that being about the struggling of a big esport out there. Now, we've talked a lot about struggles, about a lot of scenes over this pandemic year, which has been a wild ride. But recently, it's been all about Counter-Strike. And I have a list on my phone. I can't really remember all of the faults now to date, but especially this past week, Richard Lewis and others have really taken fire of the CSGO scene. And I would almost borderline say the corrupted nature of what many would call the number 2 esport in the entire world. And what many are now admitting is the game, viewer base, player base is certainly doing fine, but there's something really, really wrong about CSGO in its current state.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the competitive side of the game. I mean, just with the recent investigations that have come to light, this is such a widespread issue where people are just willfully ignoring the rules and regulations to try and get ahead of their competitors.
Yeah, with the move to online play, and I will pull up my list because I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
As we do these podcasts, we take a few notes here. I mean, when Richard Lewis, one of the all-time greats for journalists in esports.
Shout out RL.
There's just no denying that. And when he comes out and says that, this could be too far down the road for CSGO, that just hit me differently. If you guys have not seen his Twitch past broadcasts, go check them out. I mean, just some crazy stuff has been dropped. When you think about this past year alone, ESIC stream sniping, where it was so widespread they couldn't punish anyone because they were scared to hurt the scene. That in itself...
Not just hurt the scene, they were worried that might kill the scene.
Yeah, and that in itself was not talked about enough. And then we have the match fixing, which still is yet to come out for CSGO and Valorant pros. The coach spectating scandal, of which Richard Lewis says there could be more teams and players to be exposed for more bugs. We got pros leaving for Valorant, the rise of Valorant doing so well. We have pros openly admitting there is no interest in North American CSGO at all right now, as all eyes are on Valorant. Then we have orgs versus the CS Player Association, CSPPA. We have young talent all going to Valorant. You think about a kid growing up right now, what would he want to get into? Would he want to get into Counter-Strike, or would he want to get into Valorant at this day and age?
Yeah, it's...
At this current state, you would think probably one over the other, leaning towards Valorant. It's just, that is only probably half the list that you can think of off the top of the head. I have never seen Counter-Strike in this kind of state. It's almost just depressing.
Yeah, the really unfortunate aspect of thing here is like you said, a lot of new players, they're looking more to Valorant than CSGO, but I think what's happening more and more is that classic CS players are getting fed up with Valve. They're getting fed up with the way the game has been treated. They're getting fed up with, I'm sure a lot of pros and members of the scene have heard about a lot of these issues with cheating, match fixing, and whatsoever, and they've gotten fed up with it. And they look at Riot and they see how they're running League of Legends, where Riot is far from perfect, but at least they're proactive. They're very, very active. They're very, very hands-on. They try to address stuff like this. Even if they don't do it perfectly, they at least try. Where Valve is much more hands-off, kind of lets people do their own thing, and I think that's part of the reason so many issues have popped up.
Yeah, and that's where this discussion really has gone now, is comparing these overarching companies of Valve versus Riot versus Activision Blizzard. And we know ActiB ain't perfect, especially with the struggle of Overwatch as a game. That's not to say the league's not a great model or couldn't work with a different game. Unfortunately, Overwatch is also in a concerning state, but Call of Duty doing great things.
Killing it.
And yes, you compare Riot Games, what they've done with the number 1 esport in the world and the fast rise of Valorant. Certainly, when you compare them, there are some big differences, and Valve is now at the forefront of everyone's eyesight, and everyone's thinking, are you going to step in and really help your games, which are struggling outside of even just North America?
Right.
Dota 2 and CSGO, yes, there are still large player bases. There are still going to be plenty of events, but everyone with eyes right now can see some blatant issues, and those might very well stem back to the lack of engagement from Valve and the lack of them stepping in to correct these underlying issues, which are just so rampant now. To Richard Lewis's point, it might be too late. I don't want to talk about this any further because we could probably go on forever.
Yeah, probably at least a couple hours, not going to lie.
It's a sad state of affairs over there at Valve and for CSGO and other games, and I guess we'll just see if we can turn back from here and head into 2021, hopefully looking up.
Well, I'm sorry, Jake. This week's podcast is just not going to be the happy, fun time esports episode.
Little Debbie Down weekend?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's just not. There's so many. 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of esports scenes. CSGO, as you mentioned, is struggling, and I wanted to highlight the FGC once again.
Here we go.
That's my bread and butter. And, I have not discussed the Free Melee situation in past weeks after that initial, breakout of the situation occurring. But so much has happened in the past week or two alone that it is insane. It is impossible not to talk about. And it has me looking at Nintendo going like, oh, Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
Yeah. It's just, I suppose I'll just dive straight into it, right? As many of you guys out there are aware, the Melee community has been in a contentious state with Nintendo recently. They want to run their own events. They want to have their prize pools. They want to have their own stages put together. They want to do them. And Nintendo is not supporting them at best and actively damaging that community in certain ways. There's been a lot of argument back and forth on the reasoning, whether or not it's justified for Nintendo to make these decisions to CND events and such, but things escalated over the past week.
They certainly did.
They did, quite a bit. So Splatoon is one of the few esports titles that Nintendo has where they actually care about it being an esports title. Nintendo looks at Smash and they don't see that as an esport. They see it as Smash Brothers. They see it as the game you get together with your cousins on a holiday weekend. You play some Smash in your room, you chill, We've seen tons of evidence in the past that Nintendo actively is not super interested in competitive Smash Brothers. To an extent, some people would argue that they don't want people to be playing Smash Brothers competitively. Splatoon, on the other hand, a little different. Nintendo hosts official Splatoon events all the time. There was an NA Splatoon tournament hosted just in the past couple weeks, beginning of December. And basically, that community wanted to come out in support of the Melee lads. They were like, hey, you know what? You're in a tough situation. Let us use our voice. We're being put on an official Nintendo broadcast. And so I believe it was 30% of the teams involved in that tournament changed their names to names supporting the Freelit Melee movement. Nintendo, in response after seeing this, was just like, let's just not do that anymore. Then let's just nix that stream. Let's
crazy.
Just cancel.
What the heck? I truly wish, and I don't mean any offense by this. This happened in an ESL event for CSGO or for some sort of Riot Games event for Valorant. I wish there was this kind of protest because it would be more widely talked about.
Absolutely.
I mean, certainly, yes, you guys have a diehard fan base over there. Unfortunately, when it comes to mainstream esports, this was talked about all over Twitter. Unfortunately, in other realms, right, on Twitch streams or on YouTube videos, not really talked about. How crazy this actually is.
Just imagine if a League of Legends, some controversy happened in League of Legends, and Valorant players just changed their names in support of that.
Yeah.
And then the Riot was just like, you know what? Just forget First Strike. Let's just cancel that stream.
Yeah,
let's just not do that.
Let's just cancel a regional or a major or a sizable event because people are protesting for other players in a different one of our titles.
Yeah.
That's how crazy this is.
And you know what? You really gotta give it up to this community of people because I think this is the most die-hard fan base in esports. I would argue that to the death, and I'm not a huge fan of that fan base, but they are some of the most hardworking, dedicated people on the planet when it comes to this stuff. And it is a testament to that after Nintendo was like, okay, forget this, that Splatoon community got together and we're doing our own event. We're calling it what did they name it? In honor of the Big House, the original Smash event that was closed.
Yep.
They called this one the Squid House. And they raised the biggest prize pool in NA Western Splatoon history at $21,000, I believe it was. Not insane numbers.
I'm just saying the way you let them off. the biggest in NA West history.
Which, hey,
$21,000.
let's be real.
But yes, for
I
that
think,
scene,
yeah,
that's big money.
It is, and I think I come back to this. Or I think about this article a lot. One of the funniest articles I've ever seen for the FGC is a joke article written about how a player got sponsored by a $20 bill that picked up off the ground. Because real talk,
Accurate.
You don't get money.
That might be
in
generous.
that industry. Yeah, really. That's why he was like, yeah, this is big moves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a burrito. I'm gonna be fed tonight.
The Onion could have a lot of great headlines around the FGC and prize pools. Now, obviously, yes, the strike does continue against Nintendo. Nintendo obviously standing pretty fast on this, but it is great to see the responses out there by several creators and pros. I think Ludwig actually stands out for me as well, raising funds for a Melee tournament, I believe. So it's been nice to see the actual response. It does concern you, though, how long that response can truly last, because Nintendo can outlast anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's just overall, I know it's really cool to see, but it's also like me realizing that's just really sucky.
Yeah, I think the conclusion I've come to after all this going down is that, hey, the Melee community, you've hung in there forever. You've been killing it for, I think it's been almost over a decade, if not a decade. Like, you kept the community alive and strong. Find a different game. It's time. Nintendo's stubborn as heck. They're not going to back down. They don't care. They're looking at this being like, yeah, but we don't sell that game anymore.
Yeah.
So some Twitter post complaining about it, realistically speaking, they're like, oh, you're going to buy Smash Brothers anyway.
Adapt or die.
Yeah. They just announced Sephiroth for Smash Ultimate, killed the news cycle. And so everybody's like, oh, yeah, Sephiroth, dope. And nobody's really, Free Melee's falling off the spectrum once again. And all they'd have to do is announce another DLC character. And once again, it's gone. So, there's other great games out there, other fantastic developers putting together other great party games. I think, it's time. The community tried. You really tried. But Nintendo ain't going anywhere. And we're not going to be able to get the game away from them. So,
Unfortunate, fortunate story yet again.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just see what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And man, oh man, Zan, towards the end of this year, it's been great for female creators, female pros, female streamers. I mean, God, I'll definitely have more content on this in the future, because I love seeing it. We saw Cloud9 White for Valorant, that female roster. We saw one of the best female CSGO rosters be signed to XSET. And now we have some victories over there. Esports Awards was Shocks. Amazing talent. I think Machine is also amazing. When you look towards those kind of hosts, what they do as the most versatile characters in a broadcast group, I love both of them, and they do amazing work, so congrats to Shocks. And then the Game Awards were also this past week, where Valkyrie, see what I said? Valkyrie sounds better than Valkyrie.
It really does. We've had this conversation a couple times this week.
Valkyrie sounds childish.
Yeah.
No offense to Ray, of course. And Valkyrie just kind of rolls off the tongue. Valkyrie.
Like, it's like, the intention comes across still, but you work the name in there. I need to reach out to Ray
and be like, tell me how to say it, and so I can just put it out there for the world.
And then tell me why it's said this way. I need a dissertation.
And then give me why. Because if I don't agree with your why, we're going to... either way, though. There was a lot of backlash, sadly, as we expect, but I'm not going to focus on that. It was incredible to see the response. Her tweet currently approaching 250,000 likes. She won Streamer, mostly Content Creator of the Year at the Game Awards. Another huge success for female creators, of which we've already talked about Ray and her female success. What I want to talk to you about was Shocks actually came forward after the awards, because there were several female creators, Ray included, that were nominated or did win. And there was a lot of backlash saying like, oh, Nick Merckx should have won. And even Nick Merckx, you think Nick Merckx gives a frick about a game award? He was one of the first people to actually message Ray and say, yo, big dub, keep it up. And then you have these diehard fans saying that they only got it because they're a girl, they're only here because they're female. And Shock spoke up against that. And it's just, I want to say I understand where people are coming from, but I don't.
See, same here. And I worry. I'm not going to go in that direction. People are going to get mad about that. But yeah, it is kind of insane. And I wonder if a lot of this is a holdover from back in the day when the perception of females in gaming was much different than it is now. I think over the past several years, it's not that females have not been doing amazing things in gaming for as long as gaming's been around. They have. They've been there since day one. I think in large part, those more, problematic, let's say, fan bases just haven't seen as much of the clear, direct evidence of, hey, this person is doing amazing things.
Yeah.
They've earned their spot here more than 10 times over, especially when it comes to somebody like Shocks, who's been in the industry
oh my gosh,
basically since it was since its earliest days.
I know whenever I talk about these things, I'm going to be called a simp, but I can't wait for a lot of these haters out there to grow up 2 or 3 years. You learn so much.
Right.
I can't fault a lot of them because you're so young. I said stupid crap too.
And see, that's what I was. That's why I veered away from.
I'm sure I was a hater at one point for some random stuff too.
Uh-huh.
But when you realize people like Ray and Shox, and I would even throw in Sapphire, who's now an observer for Valorant, Ashley Kang, a great reporter. When you realize the amount of effort they put in, and I really want to focus on someone like Ray, who's been at it for like 7-8 years, what she sacrificed, and especially someone like Shox, who is so overqualified for her position that it really scares me to hate these people, and especially these ladies get, because they could easily do other things and not contribute to our scene. And it scares me that we have seen big figures out there almost be not necessarily scared away, but almost threatened away, right? People target Richard Lewis or Thorne that, yes, they might say some things that are polarizing, but overall they are a huge benefit to the space. And I don't have necessarily a general direction for where I'm going here, but I hate to see all these people that have worked so hard, and people don't understand their backstories to get where they are, and they truly are just like some of the best.
Right.
And there are so few females that actually get to the moment where they can win an award or be the best of the best. And when they finally make it there, you have the nerve to say it's because of your gender. I mean, that's it just seems so low.
It's ridiculous. It's juvenile in a lot of ways, and I do want to just say I'm very proud of the members of the industry, not the fan base, but the members of the industry who carte blanche, basically, all of them come out in support of these female creators when they win these awards, because they know how much they deserve them.
Yeah.
And they know how much hate they get on the back end just for, being good at what they do even.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that perception changing a little bit more over the next several years. We're making steady progress in that direction, and hopefully the future is bright. We've had a lot of dark days when it comes to interactions between gaming community and the female members of that community. And, if anything else, all I can say is that I'm glad we're at least slightly moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many great options to win any award this year in esports and gaming. So I guess no matter who won, there was going to be backlash with all the great options.
Probably, yeah.
But either way, huge congratulations to all those ladies and to all of those men who won awards. It was a great year for esports and gaming.
And to Jeff Keighley. Shout out Keighley.
Yeah, dude was dripping. I'm not going to lie.
He's a machine, my
Where
guy.
does the Game Awards get their money to?
Yo,
let's not go into that.
It's the Keighleys, my guy. He's got everybody's number on speed dial.
Yeah,
so.
It's super entertaining. Maybe next year we'll take part.
All right, Jake, this next topic is more of a speculative one, because I had a good feeling that a lot of our topics today weren't going to be the happiest, and I just wanted to have one that we were just talking generally.
All right.
Curious about the future, optimistic about the future even. Potentially, who knows? We'll see. So anyway, Halo.
Oh, boy.
It's here in Fortnite. Yeah, let's go. Master Chief is in Fortnite.
Dude.
Biggest news of the year. Best Halo game ever made.
Don't get me freaking started. I literally want to have it be a topic in one of my videos of... I want to bounce this off you really quick. Yes or no? Do you think it's low-key embarrassing that Master Chief came in to debut in Fortnite before Infinite could even be released?
You got to know, that whole studio is... they do great work. 343, shout out to y'all. But...
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Before your game is even released, the most hype you've ever had for a Halo in the last however many years.
The launch game for your brand new console, and it get delayed like a whole year, basically.
Up.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to get into.
All the questions and concerns.
Yeah, imagine putting out a trailer at one of the biggest video game conferences of the year, and it bombing so hard that you had to delay your game like that long.
And then
just because
you're
like, we can't.
Yeah, this needs a multiplayer. This might need a BR. You guys got anything else? Because what we saw was not what we wanted.
Yeah. Shout out to Craig.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
But anyway, so we now have confirmation from the Halo Infinite developers. Confirmation.
Sorry, all you audio listeners doing little squigglies with my fingers.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
Hard air asterisk here.
I was called them squigglies. Yeah, asterisks. That's the word.
I don't know. That's not technically what. Yeah, but I think people know what I'm saying.
Now they understand.
Yeah.
Continue.
Air quotes. That's what they are.
Let's go.
Yeah. We got there
Third
eventually.
time's a charm.
Yeah.
Squiggly air charm asterisks.
But anyway, the devs have said that Halo Infinite is coming in fall of 2021. What that means exactly, we don't know quite yet, because just saying fall 2021 does not sound very confident to me because they didn't provide a month even. They were just like, hey, this general time range.
It's you give a I was going to say a region of climate, but I'm sounding like an idiot right now. Let me bounce off that. Think about this, Zan. You got at least 2 star-studded world champion rosters signed right now.
And that's what I wanted to get into.
To Cloud9 Sentinels.
Yeah.
So you tell me, release date set for fall. When does the actual esports circuit start? The end of next year?
Probably not. Circuits don't start holiday season, really.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
that's usually your end of year.
Yeah, that's your
TIs,
finals.
Your worlds.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, what are you gonna do? Rush it? Who the frick knows?
2 weekends. Yo, we're banging it out, guys.
Halo Infinite, 3 events, 1 world title, 3 weeks. Get good.
Qualifiers Friday, 1 p.m.
Regionals Monday, Worlds Tuesday. Oh God.
But that's what makes this so interesting to me. Yeah,
we love Halo.
I don't know.
We could.
I used to.
I might pass out. Holy frick.
I've got a lot of hope for this new one because I think it's truly important that we have rosters like Cloud9, Sentinels, Envy. They're showing.
Envy too. Sorry, I missed that one. My bad.
Yeah. They're showing their willingness to dedicate this roster, this money to a game they know is not going to be here anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like just to throw out very general numbers, the average esports player salary is somewhere between 40 to 50K. Just very, very average.
Yeah, and that's usually near your top scene, right?
Yeah.
So your top players in most scenes at the very base requirement. So,
and that varies dramatically based on exactly who it is.
Franchise leagues usually have minimums around 50 to 60 is what I'm trying to get at. It's obviously
obviously we don't know what's happening right with this league yet. We don't know the salaries. I'm just very, very general, vague esports salaries is in that range.
Yeah.
So just based off of that alone, let's go somewhere in the middle at 45K, right? You're filling a roster that's over $200,000 before the game comes out that you've locked down a roster for.
And that's if we assume the contract details aren't like, we're going to lock you down for 6 months and who knows what the details are, right?
Right, of course.
Maybe we want to get our hands on you and then we'll start paying you more after this month. We don't know those details, but yes, it's a financial investment.
It's a huge investment this far out. And my question is, can Halo possibly live up to it? Does it have the space in the industry to live up to it? Because Call of Duty is dominating right now. I think that's unquestionable. They're killing it when it comes to Warzone. Cold War is doing pretty well.
I don't want to talk too long about this because we've already riddled Halo, and I think we want it to work out.
I think we do, yes.
But with everything it doesn't have going for it, I mean, you have what might be missing, what may not even work in the game. There's already been a huge public backlash. We don't know about multiplayer or the BR side of things.
We do know BR is not happening.
BR is not happening.
Definitely not happening.
So I'd be honest, I don't think that's a good thing for the title, that it's not happening. I think people would encourage it, but it could take away from the multiplayer. So there's a lot of things that could be missing or could not work out. Then you add the delays, and then you add the rise of Valorant, which is already killing one of the top esports in the world in CSGO.
And then we already have Crossfire as well coming out very, very soon.
And then to add even further, you have Halo pros debating Call of Duty. So with its rise, like you said, there's a lot going on, and Halo has to do tremendous things to succeed, and I don't think that's a far-fetched thing to say.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for them, and I really hope they've got some, aces up their sleeve they haven't told us about yet.
God, I hope so.
That really, I really want to know why these orgs felt so confident that they were willing to sign rosters this far in advance, because they got to have heard something.
I wish we knew that pillow talk.
Yeah, I know a Halo guy follows us. I think it's their esports head. I'm gonna be in his DMs. Be like, "What's going on here, my guy? I just need to know. We just need to know behind the scenes. We won't keep
tell
it
you
quiet.
guys.
We can keep it quiet for a bit, but yeah, we just need to know what's going on here because it's fascinating to see this happen.
It is.
And
the future of Halo will be fascinating, and I'm sure we're going to keep on talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please,
can't wait.
Blow our minds, surprise us. And a huge piece out there this past week is another U.S. Senator wanting to do something that's just, a U.S. Senator.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
You know what? It's one of those moves where you look at that and be like, how old are you?
Yeah.
Do you know how internet browsers work? Let's have that conversation.
Mr. Tom Tillis, the man who can't even spell his own first name, Thom. I really focused on that in my video because that's all I really had going for me.
Fair enough.
He's actually trying to pass a bill, which in it apparently could be actually pressing Twitch streamers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, with potential felonies and facing potential jail time. The bill itself is already already facing a lot of backlash. I mean, it's one of the ones we hope that would be like, nah, this ain't happening.
Yeah, like anybody reasonable would look at that and immediately be like, what are you?
Yeah,
no, what?
No, Tom.
No.
But the reason we're talking about it is,
Yeah.
of course, there is potential, and that's the terrifying part to even be talking about.
Yeah, the fact that this is even in the air.
Yeah. We're worried about Twitch bans. I mean,
Yeah, right?
Timmy Tat and Nikki Merckx were going to be going to the beach or Bora Bora, and now you could be going behind the big old bars. Like,
Yeah. Because, you know...
They're not.
Yeah, because Macklemore played in the background of the game that you were playing randomly.
Yeah.
You had no control over that. You didn't know what was happening. It just
Ninjas
happened.
freaking playing thrift shop, and all of a sudden, no more of that. I mean, it just...
Cops knock on the door and be like,
You that blue-haired guy...
open up.
You popping tags? Like, it's just, I mean, I really wish we would have seen more big streamers react. Just give us a tweet, give us anything, because
Yeah.
I want to know if any of them are actually scared. It just seems so far out because we don't know. Me and you don't know the government details of if this does happen, will it result in felonies? Will people actually spend jail time? But you would imagine if it if it happens to one Twitch streamer, does it happen to them all? Or like
Even let's imagine, right? Let's imagine this bill gets talked down from jail time to just aggressive fines or something, like a misdemeanor or something. Imagine getting a misdemeanor for playing a video game and then
for
like
playing Spotify.
yeah, right?
Like it's crazy. It's one thing if you're like streaming, copyrighted football matches,
very
or
clearly so,
sports
right?
matches
Yeah.
that are pay-per-view things. If you're doing that illegally, all right, there have been people that have been fined for that.
Yeah, of course.
But for playing music or watching other people's videos,
Especially when you can't really, it's not like you can just take an MP3, put it into a thing and say, oh, this is copyright, I'm not going to play that. It's so difficult to check copyrights on so much stuff out there. Like for the average person. Like
and then it's like, to what extent, right? Do you have to play like 300 songs?
Yeah,
or like
right.
how many songs is the breaking point? Or is it certain songs? Like you said, is it only Jay-Z songs that get you put in jail? Or I don't hope... I really hope this doesn't go anywhere.
Same here.
But it's a maddening thought that this guy literally sat down. He's like, okay. I got this. I got this bill in the works. Okay, and then I'm just gonna throw in this one thing because I hate Twitch streamers. Like what? I want to know, Tom.
Low key.
What crossed your mind?
Low key. Here's my tinfoil hat theory. Senators are mad about AOC streaming Among Us. And how popular that was, and how big that was, and how much that boosted her platform.
Tom just was watching AOC Miss Cortez stream, and he was just like, write the bill. Write the motherfucking bill. Is she playing music?
We cannot allow this.
This is his way to get AOC. Is that even
tinfoil hat theory, my guy? Like this is some secret plot. You
like,
saw how mad people were about that for no reason. Like, calm down.
There
Who
was
cares?
some other senator or congressperson that randomly tweeted out like, "Who wants to play a game of Uno on Twitch?" And I was like, "I think Tom Tillis does." And then he slipped some background music in there, and Tom is just on stream like, "Oh God,
has no idea what's going on."
My own bill is against this.
And then he hears on his door, "Open up."
Either way, it's a crazy theory. We love you, Tom.
What is
we
2020?
Don't.
What is 2020? What is this news story we're talking about right now? Real talk.
You think, dude, could you have predicted anything we talked about just on today's episode back in 2019?
No. I think I could have predicted
Nintendo.
the female.
Oh.
No, Nintendo. No, Nintendo. I thought
Nintendo hating esports, predictable.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
People hating female gamers, predictable.
Nintendo taking it to this extent, I don't know if I saw that coming.
No.
But
like,
Halo getting delayed this long or looking this bad when the first trailer
we could
came
have
out.
predicted some things.
I don't know. I didn't think it would be that bad.
long.
That bad. This bad.
2020 been wild, but yeah, especially wild for a guy like Mr. Tom Tillis. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast. Thank you all so much. Everyone who sends DMs, who leaves comments, we read just about every single one. We can't reply to everyone, but you guys are truly amazing. Zan, do your thing. Hit those viewers with a good old outro.
Glad to do so, my guy. You know what? As always, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of the Esports Rewind podcast. You can find us on the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. If you'd like to listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, on your phone, in the car, on the go, basically anywhere where you listen to your podcast, just type in PREEDICTION. Our podcast is right there. And shout out to all of our audio listeners. We really appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And shout out to the TV viewers in Canada who are also tuning in.
Canadian
Yeah, what's
viewers?
good?
How you
What's
doing?
good?
How you roll?
Yo, hey, Aside from that, like Jake said, we really do appreciate everybody who reaches out to us. It does mean the world to us. We try to respond to what we can. We cannot respond to everything, but do please keep sending those messages. It does mean the world. You can find us on Twitter at talk_esports, Instagram at esports_talk, our website, esportstalk.com. We get to cover some of the stories we don't get to touch on the channel. And you know what, Jake? Any other good words to leave the people with?
Take care of yourselves, you beautiful nerds.
Please do.
We love you. We'll see you back here same time
treat
next
yourself
week.
this weekend. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, kiss yourself.
Yeah.